am here with my two former students here, and these two make me very proud that I became a teacher. It was such a pleasure and joy to have them in my class because they not only excelled, but they kind of validated a lot of things for me. And now they're back here. They're both in college, and let me introduce them. First, we have the lovely Ashley.
Hello.
Okay. And Ashley, you're in college right now?
Yes.
Okay, what are you doing there?
Right now, I'm currently studying for child psychology, and I transfer this June.
Okay, and you are a freshman/sophomore?
Sophomore.
You're a sophomore. And then we have the one, the only, big Dodger fan himself.
Yep.
Okay, and that's Mr. Fabian.
Hey, everybody.
And what are you majoring in?
I'm majoring in pre-engineering
Okay.
at Citrus.
At Citrus.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I would imagine that being in the community college, you're both going to transfer somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an idea where you might want to go?
Yes, I applied last semester. I applied to Cal State LA, Cal State Fullerton, and Cal Poly.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, hopefully this week, I get an acceptance. All the acceptance letters are going out.
Okay,
So,
so you're not going to wait till the end of sophomore year. You're just going to see if you can get in right now.
yeah, well, I finish. I graduate from Citrus in June.
Okay.
And then for my third, I have to transfer this semester. Well, after this semester, it's my last semester.
Okay, and how about you?
I'm thinking of transferring out to Cal Poly Pomona because I had a change of major.
Okay.
I started at Cal Poly as an architect major, and after about a year and a half, I realized that major wasn't for me. It wasn't the right. It didn't feel right for me. So I came back to Citrus, majoring pre-engineering, and I'm hoping to transfer out back to Cal Poly for their mechanical engineering program.
And, that's the whole idea of this episode of the podcast is to talk about your career versus your calling. And both of you had an epiphany, what I would say. We all thought, Ashley, you would become this medical nurse extraordinaire.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you took my class. My class was graphics, and I thought you were fantastic. I thought you were exceptional. Both of you did very, very well. But Ashley, you were like the star of the show. And I didn't have a vision of you going into graphics as a career because I don't want to sound selfish, but you did take advantage of that, didn't you? You took advantage of some of the skill sets and came up with your own little side business.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you tell us some more about that?
Yeah, well, coming into graphic arts, I just kind of took graphic arts senior year as just like another just easy class to take. But like in reality, it ended up becoming into like a really useful class that's still helping me right now, still 2 years later. And I just didn't think that Photoshop was going to be a thing that I was going to be like able to learn so quick and just think of so many ideas to do. So after I think it was like the end of senior year, when COVID hit, so it was like right before we graduated, I kind of just started like thinking, and I started seeing like videos of other people making so many different things, creating stuff. And it was it was for my birthday party, actually, my 18th birthday party. And my mom was like, oh, we should order, chip bags, all this. And I was like, what is that? I was just so confused on, what it was. And when she showed me, I was like, I feel like I could make that. I think I have enough knowledge to where I'm able to make stuff like that. And I just, started looking online, and then I ended up just making a whole design. And I was like, well, we're going to test it out. And then from right there, after I was able to, customize chip bags, adding pictures, designs for just, anything, I was like, okay, well, this worked out. It worked out really good. So I started thinking of more stuff, and then I was able to create, chocolate bars also, custom stuff like that, which is really cool. And then just, T-shirt designs. And then right now, currently, me and Fabian, we both make, Starbucks cups. And, Fabian does all the designing for that now, too.
Oh, really?
So it's really cool. So, it's helped us a lot, too, something on the side, but, still getting all that knowledge that we learned from here, and then just using that right now for a side business. It's really cool.
Wow, that's a promo for my class right there. I'll tell you, that makes me feel really good. I'm glad that people are finding it useful, and especially you two. So, and Fabian, what did you apply for? I mean, you said you wanted to go into mechanical engineering, but you were previously in what kind of engineering?
I was an architect major.
Architect.
Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of switch and you want to go more the math route.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take this scenario right now. Okay, so Ashley, we thought we were going to see, like I said, the nursing extraordinaire because you were very heavily involved with the nursing program over here, or the medical pathway here.
Yes.
Then you had only one course with me, but you were inspired enough to kind of make a profit of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Fabian, you, on the other hand, decided to go into architecture at first. What inspired you with that? Did you love buildings? Did you like drawing?
So growing up, my dad, he works at like a company that makes pillar molds for like cities, different parks, themes. Because like places like downtown Covina, all the structural pillars that are designed, my dad's company made those. And so growing up, I watched him on the computer making designs, planning everything out. So I really was inspired by that. So I started looking into different majors that might be similar to that, and architect was on the table. So I applied for architecture, got into Poly Pomona. But when I got into it, the more classes I took, I just realized it didn't feel right to me. I couldn't picture myself doing this for the rest of my life.
And why not? What was it that you felt the disconnect?
The disconnect, for me, at least I understood architecture as there was a lot of conceptual theories, like why this, why that, why do you have this shadow here? And I couldn't think that deeply about buildings. I was more like based on function and stuff like that. So to me, when they would ask me, why'd you build that? I'm like, I don't know why I built that. Like it was very deep in concept, and I wasn't very proficient at that. I'm better with numbers, math, and all that. So that's why I felt like architecture wasn't the route for me.
So you felt like you were in the wrong arena.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could have done it. It's just that you felt that it wasn't really your style of thinking. Now, it's important because I'm catering the show to high school students and young adults. What got you into nursing? What got you into medical? I mean, when did you take, like 3 years of it?
4.
4, wow.
4 years. I took off 4 years.
So what inspired you to take that pathway and stick with it?
Coming out of middle school, I'm supposed to go to Azusa High School because I live like really close by there. But I came here because I started hearing that there was like a new medical program. And I don't know why, I just felt like I just really liked nursing. Like I loved helping people and stuff, so I felt like that's what I wanted to do. Coming out of middle school, so I transferred over here to Gladstone to just come for the medical program only. And I really liked it. Like there wasn't really anything that I didn't like about the medical program. I just felt like this is really what I want to do for like the rest of my life. I just fell in love with the whole program and everything. And so that's why, like for me, I was like, oh, becoming a nurse is what I really want to do. But then getting out of here, I was like, okay, college. First semester was good also like for nursing. But then starting my second semester, I went to go shadow a nurse. So I feel like that's like really important when it comes to like a career, is like shadowing what you want to do, because that's when I kind of realized that nursing wasn't for me, when I went to go shadow a nurse. And I spent like a whole day with her, and she was like, I just didn't like what they were doing. I just felt like it wasn't something that I wanted to do. Like, I don't know, like it was just really weird seeing just the hours in general. Like a lot of the people, the nurses stuff, were mentioning to me that when you first get out of there, you start working between 18 to 24 hours. And then I just didn't like that. Like it was like being to work those hours. I didn't like also a lot of the things that they would like do, which was like cleaning, bathing people and stuff like that. I'm working with adults a lot too. And I know that like they also have like, I've always wanted to work with kids. So when I was like telling her that, she was like, maybe RN like for adults and stuff isn't your right path. Like she even like gave me advice of maybe to try looking at other like careers out there. And when I started looking, I was like, I was already taking psychology classes because that's, I don't know why, I found a lot of interest in that. So I was just taking that as just like small electives through my first semester and then also my second semester. And I had my 2 friends, they're also psychology major, but like different routes. And one of them, she's doing family psychology, and then my other friend, she's doing forensic psychology. So it's very different. And hearing their both perspectives, I just felt like I really liked psychology. I loved the classes. I started to pay more attention and started focusing more on my psychology classes than my actual medical classes that I had in college. So that's when I kind of started noticing like maybe psychology is more for me, because I was enjoying those classes more and was more interested in them.
And so this really cuts to the chase of what I was talking about in my podcast about your calling. Sometimes you don't know it until it just kind of hits you, because it seems like both of you like I said, you had that epiphany, but before that, it was interesting. Architecture was interesting, and it is interesting, but it's just not who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And nursing, after 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
after 4 years of grueling program, you got into it a little bit, and then you realized that, well, no, this is not who I am. I mean, and nurses, they are, I mean, God bless them. They are just amazing, and they're heroes.
Yeah.
They're absolutely heroes, but it's also a very grueling career. I mean, you got to, especially now with COVID and with all the stuff that comes with it. I mean, you might have to be a nurse in a trauma center. I mean,
Yes.
can you imagine that, and all the gruesome things you might have to see? And unless you have the stomach for it. So did you feel like they didn't introduce that to you?
No, I felt like they kind of did, because even over here with like Miss Jenny, I was able to do the hospice program after school. So that hospice center, it's like a place where like people who go there only have like around, I think, a year or less to live.
Yeah.
So it was really, that kind of like opened up my eyes a lot. It was really sad I would go there twice a week and I would be there for 3 hours. So volunteering there really opened up my eyes a lot, like to see also that kind of side of the medical.
It was depressing.
Yeah, it was really sad.
And for you, Fabian, you know, you were inspired by your dad.
Yeah.
And that's a great thing. You know, every father would love to hear that. As a father, I'm hoping I hear something like that. My son wants to go into animation and computer graphics. Well, he's only 9. So. But I'm just saying that was... that's great that you honored your father that way, but again, that's not who you are.
Yeah, it was.
So it was so now you're thinking, okay, let me ask you this. So now you decided you're going to go into mechanical engineering, correct?
Yes.
And you're going to go into possibly teaching.
No, child psychology.
Well,
right now I'm doing teaching, but I don't know. It's a lot.
Okay, so...
I'll explain more.
Okay, that's great. I look forward to hearing, but what was it about your decision, Fabian, you know, to go into mechanical? What was it? And are you sure that this is where you want to go for the next... You're only how old?
I'm only 19.
Okay. You're only 19. You're not going to retire until 69 probably.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking 50 years.
Yep.
Are you sure that this is where you want to at least start your life?
Where I at least want to start, I'm pretty sure this is where I want to start, because honestly, when the pandemic hit, I rekindled an interest in the automotive industry that I had growing up. Because growing up, my uncle had these classic muscle cars, and they would talk to me about them, and I would be so intrigued growing up. But then as I got older, you know, I kind of fell out of love for that. But when the pandemic hit, you know, we're home more, you're just at home watching Instagram, YouTube, and all that. And I started finding these YouTubers that are like the automotives, teaching you how to fix cars, how to work on them, how to make them, how they just describe them. And I fell in love with that again. So I really thought about it like my third semester.
That's the key word, falling in love.
Yeah.
Aha. That's the aha moment. It's the falling in love. And so, but isn't mechanical engineering more about, well, it could be anything. It could be spaceships.
Exactly.
All right?
And then as I fell in love with the automotive industry, I started falling in love with the mechanical things. I love learning about how things work together and how to make them better, how to solve a problem by putting two and two together. And so over the time, I want to do is focus. I would love to work in the automotive industry, you know, make cars safer, make them better, make them more efficient. But if any aspect to just help the world to be like a cliche, but a better place, you know, help out the world in any way. And I just love the factual that this works because of this, that works because of that. That's what I felt was
the connection.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And Ashley, what do you love, the child more or do you love the psychology more?
Well, for me, starting this semester, my last semester, which was my fall semester, they told me that I had to start working with children to actually see, just so I could get an idea of how I was. So I started applying for many different jobs working in childcare, which was like I applied for even like working at like a care center, daycare, but I never thought working at a school again. And like I just never thought working at a school because I didn't even think that I was able to work at a school this young until I was like thankfully to get a job at Royal Oaks Elementary School. It's like a middle school and an elementary both. And I was able to get a job there as an instructional bilingual aide. So I started working with children. My first 3 weeks, they had me working with just kindergarten. And I was really scared to work with kindergarten. It was my first time working with kids, and then working with little ones. I was like really scared, but I ended up just falling in love with it a lot too.
Falling in love, there it is.
I felt so in love working with the kids and it was really cool because at the same time I was taking a lot of child development classes last semester. So I was able to, like in class, they would mention to us like, oh, maybe in a child you start seeing their minds work like this, like they start like you and for child psychology you start learning from like everything from like the basics of like why does a child walk down the steps this way, things like that. So then I kind of started noticing things like that. So it was like at work now I'm just like taking all those tips in and then seeing kind of all of that, and it was just like so interesting. I just wanted to learn more and more.
And there you go. So that's really a key thing that you said, because when you find your calling, you just notice things that you didn't notice before. You just kind of see things, and then you want to learn things. And, for me, I was a biologist. I mean, people like, what, you? Yeah, me. I just didn't like it. But then for 25 years, I had my own business. I designed websites. I taught, I didn't teach. I was in graphics. But then when I got into teaching, I just fell in love with it. Even though this is not my first high school, but I worked in high schools that were just bad. The administrators were just, they wouldn't support me, or I had really bad kids. But when you love something, you keep coming back to it. Until finally I came here to Gladstone, and I had students like the two of you, and it was worth the struggle. And so you guys are both young. Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you know how often a person changes their career in their lives?
Not really.
3 times on average. This is just an average, okay?
Yeah.
Now that doesn't mean that you're gonna
change 3 times.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're going. I mean, being a child psychologist, you're going to hear things like I've been hearing things. I hear a lot of issues that these students have.
Yeah.
A lot of issues. You're going to hear that too. And you might work in the foster care system. You might work in,
It's going to be rough. I know it is.
It's going to be rough, but I mean, as a teacher, it may be less rough.
Yeah.
And because as a teacher, you're building. You're building their psyche. You're building their psychology. And you almost feel like they're your own.
Yes.
That's when you realize this is the profession for you. And for you, Fabian, you said the key word. I want to make the world a better place. And let me tell you, there's some really bad drivers out there. There are some it seems like they're deranged, they're distracted. So I can't wait for the driverless cars to come out. And because I don't want them driving. They're so bad, it's ridiculous. I wish I could use a different word to describe them, but at any rate, so the calling is falling in love. It is who you are, and it touches your spirit, and there is no Monday through Friday. It's every day, 24/7. Is that how you feel about your profession, mechanical? What do you do outside of school with the mechanical engineering?
Well, outside of school, I have, to be honest, I have a bigger love for the sport of baseball. So it's
the Dodgers.
But even growing up, a lot of people were like, "Oh, did you see this game? Did you see this game?" But growing up, I fell in love with baseball a different type of way. I didn't fall in love with watching the game. I fell in love with playing it. So I'd be growing up playing with people, and they'd be like, "Oh, this is my favorite player. I always watch him play." But I'd be like, "I don't watch the games. I just love playing the sport." And so,
yeah, me
honestly,
too.
That'd be like, for me, that's my dream career. But obviously, mechanical engineering is also something else I fell in love with.
To play baseball.
Yeah.
Well, what's stopping you? You're only 19.
Nothing's stopping me, honestly. But I just got sidetracked this first year semester. I didn't think I had a real future in it. But I Because the past year it was kind of rough for me, but I kind of went through an awakening, and I was like, there's like you said, there's nothing stopping me from going out there and achieving that dream. So that's what I've been working towards right now, getting back into that top physical peak, and then I'm hopefully trying to talk to the Citrus coach this coming year to see if I have at least a shot to play on their team.
But at the same time, you're kind of realistic.
Yeah.
It's hard to be in the big leagues. It's hard to be in any major league sports.
Even minor league sports.
Even minor league sports. I mean, you can try it for the Rancho Quakes or something like that. But
even for the minor leagues, like they don't make enough for a living. So
well, how does that make you feel, though, knowing that it's such a hard road to become, to be a major league ball player?
It motivates me because, not many people get to do it. But, how are we going to know if we were able to if we don't try? Like, there's no point in not trying because if you try, you don't make it. It's fine. You can keep going. You find your real career. But also, if you do try and you do make it, you can say that you didn't regret not taking that first step into trying to make it.
And something, I made a point in my podcast that sometimes you have to accept the fact that you may not go all the way. And I mentioned that important thing, but you can still stay connected. You might make a fantastic coach. You might work in a high school, or you might work, when you have kids of your own, you might coach them, or you might become an instructor or have your own school or something like that. There's somehow you're going to find that connection. Now, I certainly hope that you do play in at least the minor leagues, get that paycheck. But how do you plan on how do you plan on staying connected?
Even if I don't make it that far, like people say, there's always adult leagues. I still have the love for the game, even if it's not at high of a level. I still love playing the game. I still love going out, getting out there, hitting the ball, catching it. So I would still be continuing playing in different adult leagues, reaching out to different places. But hopefully, make it to the minors. But even for the minors, for those players, they don't make that much of money. They don't make enough for a living. They only get paid for when they play. So even then, you still have to think realistically and get a job on the off season while still taking care of yourself. So that's why it's also a big thing to think realistic and see what you can do while you're not playing.
I certainly hope that you have the same passion you have for mechanical engineering, because that is a worldwide thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but with Ashley, how do you plan on staying connected? Do you still love medical?
I still do. There's still some things that online I still look up more right now with this whole pandemic. I love just reading articles about what's going on in the medical field and stuff. So I still like it, but I don't think there's anything else that right now I would probably do in the medical field. I think right now I'm really good with where I'm at right now. So, and talking about the teaching, that's why right now, today I had a meeting with my boss and she was talking to me. She's like, are you sure you don't want to become a teacher? Because I do get my associates in child development in June and my other also degree in another associates in psychology. And so she was like, with your associates, you could come and work with us next year as kindergarten, preschool teacher. She's like, we'd love, but I just don't know what to do anymore. I love teaching. It's so much fun. Working now just really opened up my eyes. So that's why I hope that I get accepted at Cal Poly, because as I'm working towards my psychology, my child psychology degree, at the same time I'm able to also work for my teacher credentials. So let's see just how that goes. But I think right now for sure I still want to do child psychology. That's my top thing. And I think right now with the medical field, there's not really anything. Probably just researching online on my own. But I don't think there's anything that I would still do right now.
And so you're looking for psychology as in counseling or
I want to work at a school, so school psychology, school child.
Well, let me tell you this, with being a teacher there's a lot of benefits. You get a ton of benefits and you can also retire at the age of 50 if you work there for 30 years. So at that point you can do whatever you want. Something to think about. I can tell you as a teacher myself, I am in love with this profession. I am working day and night, and I don't even think about it. I just do it. Now, of course, I spend time with my family. My son is the real student in my life.
Aww.
I work for him. So, with that being said, I absolutely love what I do. I love my students, love coming here. It doesn't bother me. I look forward to Mondays more than I do Fridays. And so that's when it becomes a part of you. So I personally think, and don't let me influence you, I personally think you'd make a fantastic teacher because you have a lot of heart, you have a lot of charisma, and obviously you're here now. You're coaching cheerleading.
Yeah, well, I'm volunteering right now. Hopefully
that doesn't
helping.
matter.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. You're working with teenagers. You're working with younger people. So I'm just saying that something to look at because it seems like the doors are opening for you.
Yeah, and it's so crazy. I never in my life thought that teaching was going to be something that I would fall in love with a lot too also as well. So right now I'm just kind of there, but I know for sure child psychology is something that like it's more, I fell in love more with that than teaching. But right now working with it, I work with kindergarten through 5th grade. So I get to see and kind of an idea of each grade, how it works. But I really love kindergarten and 4th grade. Those are like my top 2 classes that I just love being with around. And it's just like, it's like a whole different experience. And it's like how you said that I just love coming like to work. You know, like there's other jobs that people work in where they hate, you know, thinking of like, oh my God, I have work tomorrow. I have to wake up early tomorrow and go to work that I don't even like. And like for me, it's like the complete opposite. Like I love going to work. Like I don't hate going to my job. I don't hate spending like almost all day over there. Like I just love to wake up and then go to work and just be able to do what I love to do.
Yeah, well, sometimes you're going to be like, I just sleep another half hour. But no, there isn't. I mean, when I first was introduced to teaching and my friend said, you know, there's an opening for a high school. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Me teach high school students? Are you kidding me? They're going to swallow me alive. I'm not going to be able to teach them. Well, that was about 7 years ago, and nothing could have been further from the truth. I'm very grateful, but I think you would make a fantastic teacher. I think you would make a fantastic baseball player.
Thanks.
Or stay connected to baseball, because it sounds like that's really your true love at this point. But at the same time, again, I'm glad that you're being realistic, Mr. Fabian, and be the very best industrial mechanic or engineer that you can possibly be. So with that said, I want to thank my lovely host. I want to thank my lovely guests here. They were my former students, one of my very best, and I am very grateful, and they're the type of people who make me grateful that I am a teacher. So with that being said, this is Mr. Hague, over and out.
Thank you.